The Cleveland Browns are gearing up for a big matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs this Sunday, and there's some good news on the injury front and more to cover. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to stay informed. And the good news is that Myles Garrett is back, and he looks like he'll be a force to be reckoned with in this game. After some uncertainty about his status, Garrett was a full participant in practice earlier this week, which is a huge relief for the Browns defense. Now, we don't know exactly what kept him off the field, but the fact that he's back and ready to play is huge for Cleveland. If the Browns are going to have any chance of slowing down the Chiefs, we all know that Garrett is going to be a key player. He's been one of the most dominant edge rushers in the league this season, and facing a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, we need Garrett at his best. The Chiefs' offense is as dangerous as they come, but Garrett's ability to break up plays and get to the quarterback could be a game changer. Garrett's impact this season cannot be overstated. He currently ranks second in the league in sacks with 11.0, trailing only Trey Hendrickson's 12.5. Garrett has consistently wreaked havoc on opposing quarterbacks and has firmly put himself in the conversation for NFL Defensive Player of the Year, DPOY, honors. After the Browns game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Garrett made it clear that he believes he is the best edge rusher in the league right now, and honestly, with the way he's been playing, it's hard to argue with that. Now, there's another important piece to this Week 15 puzzle: injuries. The Browns are facing a few challenges, with the biggest concern being the status of tight end David Njoku. Unfortunately, Njoku, who has had a solid season with over 50 receptions and 5 touchdowns, will likely miss Sunday's game with a hamstring injury. This is a significant loss for Cleveland, as Njoku has been a key target in the passing game. Without him, the Chiefs will have one less weapon to worry about. But on the other hand, Kansas City's defense has struggled to defend the tight end position this season, so it could open the door for other players to step up. Speaking of injuries, another player to keep an eye on is rookie defensive lineman Mike Hall. Hall, a second-round pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, has had a challenging rookie season marked by injury setbacks. After suffering a sprained MCL during practice prior to Week 11, Hall was placed on injured reserve, and we haven't seen him on the field since. But now, with the Browns looking to bolster their defense, Hall's return could be a huge boost. We've seen flashes of Hall's potential before, and if he can get back to full strength, he could be a key contributor down the stretch. Despite the setbacks, Hall remains focused on his rehab, and he's been doing everything he can to stay in shape while he awaits his return. Before his injury, the Browns were hopeful that Hall could help fill the void left by the Zadarius Smith trade and provide an extra edge in the defensive line rotation. Could he see action against Kansas City? Head coach Kevin Stefanski and defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz have hinted at the possibility of Hall being used at multiple positions, which could give the Browns defense the flexibility to create chaos on the field. Hall's explosive nature and tireless effort have been a big part of why the Browns are excited about his potential. If he gets a chance to play, don't be surprised if he turns up the heat on Mahomes. Hall has already shown what he's capable of in limited snaps, and if he can stay healthy, he'll be a player to watch in the coming weeks. Now, here's where I need your input. Browns fans, what do you think about Garrett's chances of winning DPOY this season? Do you think the loss of Njoku will be a big blow to the offense? Or do you think other players will rise to the occasion? What about Mike Hall? Should he get a chance to play against the Chiefs? Now, I know it's been a tough season for us, with the Browns officially out of playoff contention after that heartbreaking Week 14 loss to the Steelers. But don't think for a second that this team isn't ready to fight. This isn't about the playoffs anymore. This is about pride. This is about showing the league that the Cleveland Browns are a team built for the long haul. Despite being eliminated from the postseason, the coaching staff and players are more committed than ever to finishing this season strong. Assistant head coach and special teams coordinator Bubba Ventrone made it clear, nobody is happy with how our season turned out, but hopefully over the next 4 weeks we can build some momentum for next year. He emphasized that the players are still giving it their all, and the coaches are working tirelessly to ensure they finish this season on a high note. There's no disappointment here, just a determination to build for the future. Now, here's where things get interesting. As we head into this matchup with the Chiefs, one of the most important aspects of the remaining games is the bond this team has developed. We've all seen how teams can break apart under pressure, but this Browns squad, they've only grown closer. Veteran linebacker Jordan Hicks, who joined the Browns this offseason, reflected on what he's seen in the locker room. "You can feel the cohesiveness of this team," Hicks said. "We've bonded over the highs and lows of this season, and we want to make the most of the last times we have together." These aren't just words. This is the kind of mentality that drives teams to succeed even when the odds are stacked against them. The reality is, the Browns are facing the top team in the AFC. The Chiefs are 12-1, coming off back-to-back Super Bowl victories, and they're looking like a juggernaut once again. But here's the thing. This game is the perfect opportunity for the Browns to prove that they're capable of hanging with the best of the best. Left with pride and the drive to prove themselves, this game is about more than just a win. It's about showing the world that this team is still hungry and that they'll fight until the very end. And speaking of pride, let's talk about the leadership in the locker room. Offensive guard Joel Bitonio spoke on the challenge ahead, acknowledging that while the team may not be in the playoffs, there's still a lot to play for. Every time you go out on the field, it's a blessing to play in this league, Bitonio said. If we can go out there and compete with them and beat them, I think it just shows that the guys are still bought in. The guys are still fighting for that pride. It's not about the playoffs anymore. It's about the pride in wearing the Browns jersey and giving everything you've got. Another voice of leadership in the locker room is safety Grant Delpit. For him, the rest of this season is all about respect for the game and for each other. It's about your respect and passion for the game. It's not about who we're playing at this point. It's really just about, do you love the game or not? Delpit said that's the mentality the Browns are bringing into this game. And it's a mentality that can inspire every single player on that field. Whether or not they make it to the postseason, every moment they play in these final weeks should be treated like it's the most important game of their careers. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about another important figure, running back Nick Chubb. As the Browns face the final stretch of the season, there's still a lot of uncertainty surrounding Chubb's future with the team as he approaches free agency. Chubb's been a cornerstone of this franchise since being drafted in 2018, and he's made it clear that he has no intentions of slowing down anytime soon. I have a long way to go before I shut anything down, Chubb said. Every time I go out there, it's practice reps, game reps. It's me just getting better physically, mentally, all around. So I'm nowhere near shutting it down. Not even a thought. Chubb's commitment to getting better is a sign of the passion he still has for the game, and the Browns need that energy. Even though Chubb's been limited this season after recovering from a torn MCL, he's still an essential part of this offense. His leadership and ability to break through defenses can't be overlooked. This season, he hasn't quite put up the same numbers we're used to, but that doesn't mean he isn't still one of the best running backs in the game. He remains an integral part of this team's future, and as his contract situation looms, Chubb's desire to stay in Cleveland couldn't be clearer. I started here. I'd like to finish here, Chubb said. Cleveland just means a lot to me. Everything we've been through, ups and downs, but I'm proud to be drafted here. As the Browns focus on finishing the season strong, Chubb's status remains a key point of conversation. With the team now looking ahead to next year, the question remains, will Chubb return to lead this backfield for years to come, or is his time in Cleveland coming to an end? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, Nick Chubb's impact on this franchise will be felt for years, regardless of where he plays next. All right, Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What do you think about the team's mentality heading into the final weeks of the season? Do you believe the Browns can prove something in their matchup against the Chiefs? And what's your take on Nick Chubb's future with the team? Should he stay in Cleveland for the long haul? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We've got plenty more Browns news, updates, and analysis coming your way, so stick around. Let's finish this season strong, and as always, go Browns!